Nerd on the Podcast is proudly partnered with Apogee Electronics and Odyssey Headphones, leaders in the field of audio.
The game that I used to play
How
all
are
the
you
time.
surprised?
Yeah, no one should
I
be
don't know
surprised
this
with
one. I
this.
am.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Nerd on the Podcast you didn't need, but you deserve, and where all levels of nerd are welcome. Happy New Year. Today, we feel it in our fingers. We feel it in our toes. Possibly the one film that tries to express that even in the midst of the darkest of times. Love can be found all around us. Our marquee topic is none other than the holiday classic, Love Actually.
Bum, bum, bum.
I feel it in my
fingers.
It's so
But
catchy.
before we get into that, let us introduce the host. I am Josh,
I'm Tom.
I'm Caitlin.
And I'm Corey.
and this episode is brought to you in part by the members of the Nerd On Nation that is powered by Patreon. As a member of the Nerd On Nation, you do get fun perks, like you get early access to these episodes, you get bonus episodes that nobody else hears, and you get access to secret channels on our amazing, fantabulous Discord server. But these super secret channels are just for you to talk with us and other members of the Nerd On Nation. But yeah, exclusives, fun stuff. Check it out. Join that Nerd On Nation. It does allow us to keep growing, to keep creating content, and to get better. It's good stuff. So check it out, nerdon.tv
Great stuff.
/Patreon. And check out that Discord, nerdon.tv /Discord. And a huge shout out to our partners, Apogee and Odyssey. Apogee have equipped us with these hype mics. They are the ultimate podcasting microphone.
I
But
punched mine.
don't punch your
course.
microphone.
Because he loves it
It was
so
a love
much.
tap.
It was a
It
love
was a
tap.
love tap.
Got it.
Because
Got it,
if
got it.
you really love hype mics, then you should let it show.
Wow.
Wow. But yeah, it's an incredibly versatile microphone that you can use on Mac, PC, and mobile. We use it for everything from our podcast to streams to audio to everything that we're doing. We use the hype mic. And a huge shout out to Odyssey headphones. We are using their LCD ones. It's their open back headphones. Very comfortable. Sounds yummy. Check them out. They also have the Mobius, and they have the new gaming headphones that they just came out for PS4 and Xbox, the Penrose. So check those out. But yeah, it's the highest of quality. They're a wonderful company. We have been talking with them even more lately, and they are just
Good
they're
folks.
people. So check them out, Odyssey. And that is the housekeeping.
Yep.
Now
There you have it.
to the episode. Love Actually.
Welcome to the episode.
Welcome.
And if
Here you
you
are.
want to skip these ads, join the Nerd On Nation, the $8 tier, and you never have to hear us talk about that shit ever again.
As long as your name.
What he said.
Yeah.
But you will hear my reaction to. I just started looking up the Christmas All Around Us lyrics and how terrible it is, but
Yeah.
it's so good.
They even call it out.
God, I love it.
Pretty blatantly, yeah.
So everyone watching and listening, what's going on? We're going to go into our next two segments, which are going to be something that talks about the end of the show, where we're going to rate it from a 1 out of 5
That's right.
today. And so that brings us to our first segment, which is
Guess.
Yes.
that
Grum. And if
I
you
feel it in my fingers,
then let
I
your
feel it in
feelings
my
show.
toes.
Rate the
Christmas
movie
all
with
around
stars.
me.
Because that's how we run the
feeling
show.
grows. Okay, we're gonna do that song.
So that's our theme song and it never changes.
Yes, never changes.
Christmas
Everyone
is all around.
around us.
Baby!
I can make you a kiss from
on
around
Christmas.
away. Come and let. So everyone who's brand spanking new, that is the DNA. That is the DNA. You put the black light in the room. That's what you'd see. That's what you'd see.
It's a
what you just
train
heard.
wreck. It's fun.
So guess that grump now is going to be
Black
where
light
we're going to
analogy
go around.
really works for that.
Yes. We're going to go around the digital screens here. If you're not watching on YouTube, you should be. And guess who's going to have the lowest score from 1 out of 5 for the week. And no matter how high the number is, they will be the grump for that time.
That's right. Caitlin, who's your first guess?
I think
Yes.
I'm hesitant to say it because I think I might be wrong, but I'm going to pick Corey.
Okay.
Come on, let it snow.
Josh or Tom, who you got?
I think
go ahead.
that it will be Corey.
Whoa. Okay.
He told us secrets in the digital green room beforehand.
I said
so
I
it's-
have complicated emotions
Yeah.
about this. That doesn't actually give away.
I know,
anything.
but that was like the tiniest little speck of insight, so we're running with
That's
it
all we
too
got.
hard.
Tom,
I'm going to...
it's okay. Lay it on me, baby.
No, I was going to say, I was like, for the wild card, baby. For the wild card, Caitlin.
I brought my Christmas mug to this.
Come on and let
doesn't mean
it
anything.
snow.
There is some secondhand embarrassment in this movie, Caitlin. I just want to throw that out there.
There
So my vote.
Wait, what did you? Who did? Oh yeah, who did you vote?
This is so hard because
It's written in the wind.
because I want to vote Tom, but it could go in two very opposite directions. But I'm gonna because this is also like right up Tom's romantic ass alley.
Look at me through the screen.
Yeah, I'm looking at you.
I also
Yeah,
am conflicted, but also you know me.
I already wrote my name next to yours. So.
You know me. You know me though.
So that's that. I have one little thing though after my vote. So if you like the guess grumping things, you could guess that grump on a poll if you join the Nerd On Nation. And if you get it right, you could be the guess that grumper, grass-fed, Gatorade, gluten-free, Grinch-like, good feeling, good vibing, Christmas all around you grumper.
Goodman.
And you get a shout out on the show if you get it right. And the
Wow.
Nerd On Nation has spoken, Tom,
Oh,
and they believe it's you.
And just so I'm absolutely clear, you voted for Tom as well?
I did.
Okay.
So the way this is going to go down at the end of the show, we're going to give our ratings. It's going to go Josh first, Caitlin, me, and Tom at last. And I'll go first alphabetically. So Tom will be the very last because I'm also the most curious about Tom. So I want him to go last.
okay.
So again, Josh, Caitlin, me, then Tom. Even though Tom and I have the same amount of votes.
Okay. So now we'll go into our complete spoiler of that, which is our brief synopsis and our first impressions. So Corey wants to go first.
I do.
Go ahead.
Let me set the stage. The year's 2005.
Wow, okay.
2 years after this movie came out.
Yes. I'm 16 years old. And I'm in love at 16. And I see this movie. And I go, this is love. This is what love is. And I have a lot of very strong emotions of it. As a 16-year-old watching this film, this is everything you think relationships and love are. And I held this on a very high pedestal for a very long time. I watched it with my now wife. My now wife, Tom loves that phrase. My now wife. Shout out to your now wife. Back in high school.
I don't have a now wife.
Me either.
So that was the
Close to
first
that.
time I had ever seen it. I thought it was like the greatest thing I had ever seen. And I mean, a lot of the nation did too. Look how many of these anthology movies came out afterwards.
Valentine's
Looking at you,
Day,
Valentine's
New
Day.
Year's
Looking at you, New
Eve.
Year's Eve. None of them matched up.
No.
So I know I'm not alone in this feeling. And the cast was phenomenal. I knew everybody in the cast. And especially now, I mean, Martin Freeman wasn't really anybody then, but now he's Martin Freeman. So, you
Yeah.
know. There are some things that I didn't enjoy even then that I still don't enjoy now. But as I've grown, especially being married now, I'm like, this film, I don't know. I have such torn emotions. So anyway, I like the movie.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
All right. Well, let's follow that up with the coiner of that term, Caitlin.
I mean, kind of, I like the movie too.
Oh,
Kind of?
I like
I
the
kind of
movie.
like the movie too, though.
It's weird. It's like a spectrum. It's not like I don't like the movie. And I
Oh
like
no,
the
I
movie.
definitely like the
kinda
movie.
Okay.
I like the movie. Let's not mince words here. I like the movie.
Okay.
So for me, this was something I hadn't seen until prepping for this episode. So I know there's the game that I used to play
How
all
are
the
you
time.
surprised?
No one should
I
be
don't know.
surprised
This
with
one I
this.
am surprised on for some reason.
I mean,
like Caitlin, no offense. Literally no offense.
mhm.
It's a bunch of white people in Christmas. I was just like, Caitlin probably might have even watched it
No.
one time.
See, no offense, potentially offensive thing. That's how that sentence generally.
I don't
plays
mean
out.
to be
I
ugly,
know this
but-
sounds offensive, but I mean this in the no offense.
Like,
way.
I don't want to
Yeah.
be racist, but
Yeah, but here's something racist.
But Asian babies are the cutest.
sounds like you're about to say the most racist thing I've ever heard.
So it actually used to be a game of like with Bill Holmes from Carcerum, the series. And
Shout
many
out.
other
Baby's
things.
Day Out.
Shout out. And
Baby's
Baby's
Day
Day Out. I used to play a game with him of like, what movie can I disappoint you by not having seen? And usually it was every time. And this is another one of those ones where the only thing I knew about it was Christmas cards, like Christmas cards and the radio
Card-
little tape
yeah,
deck
the-
player thing.
yeah.
And
Cue cards, Christmas cue cards.
that's actually
Walking
it.
Dead.
That's it. And only recently was like a spoiler part revealed to me in relation to the cue card thing. And that's kind of all I've ever known about this movie. So watching it for the first time was like, all right. I see what this is about. I see why people like this. Yes, there's like a part or two where I'm a bit torn on how they approached it, but even with the time frame that they did it in and the reservations I have with these little things, I can still like understand it in a real human person way. So I really liked it.
Yeah.
Josh, you and me. Which one, baby?
You go, Tom.
So everyone, buckle up. Everyone knows what HBO means to a 12-year-old boy.
No.
Boobies?
Boobies.
Well,
Oh, okay. Great.
boobies.
Got it.
That's what all it means
Now I
to
know.
an HBO kid. So I was one of those kids who's like, oh, we got the premium channels for like a week, right? And I go on HBO, and this was the first time I watched Love Actually. And I didn't know what it was. I remember hearing of this movie. I was too young. I was lost in the sauce of Pokemon and shit.
And boobies.
But also I was like, but boobies are kind of cool too. And so I went on HBO.
Kind of.
But
Sorry.
then they're cool for whoever likes them.
They're pretty all right.
Awesome. I don't know what you're talking about.
I got like bamboozled because I was
Bamboozles?
thinking that I was going to have a sexual awakening. Instead, when I watched HBO, I got heart owned. I was just like Corey. I was like,
You got owned.
this is what it means.
You got heart
to
tuned.
to get love, to have love, and to fall in love, and you could make it happen on Christmas. You know, it's the hyperbole of 500 Days of Summer of the character named Tom, who has terrible expectations of love because he watches too many movies. And so that's what happened with me. So I remember watching this film in my younger years and being like, oh my gosh, this is like a really lovey story, and this is like kind of me getting to the point where I started really kind of like, as much as a hormonal boy wants to like, you know, get doing bad things, doing X-rated things. There was always that part of me that was just like, I want to be in love and find companionship and all that shit. Like ever since I was like a young teenager, adolescent. But watching it over the years, you know, much more of the storylines actually made sense of what was happening. Because more it was just like, when you watch this film, you just get that feeling. You just get that in your fingers and in your toes.
Oh my God.
I
Well
had to
done.
bring it back up. But
It was good.
it
Well
was just
done.
like happy
Whoa!
Christmas loviness, right? and you got to let it show. But and as I got older, watching it and started actually seeing like, oh, I don't like that at all. Oh, I don't like that at all. That's how it happened when I realized things that were happening in the film. But then the wonderful thing about this, like what Caitlin said, even if you've never watched this film, you've seen the clips. Like I remember going on Twitter and seeing a clip that I was like, what movie is this from? I was like, oh my God, it's from this movie. Why did I forget that? And then like watching it over again, I'm like, oh my God, they're in here, they're in here. Everyone's in here. Everyone's just like, hey, all white people, please come to the holiday movie. I was just like, oh my God, that's what this movie was from. But it's pretty. I still enjoy the movie, but I'm also very conflicted sometimes where I'm just like, this part doesn't make me happy anymore, but the movie still makes me happy. Like so.
That's the most like upset, happy response.
Yeah, it is. Or it's like I'm mad, but man, like I'll pull the veil back a little bit. And I talked about this. Like 2020 has been like a tough year for everyone. And for me in particular, I really started feeling holiday blues like so bad. I was just like, man, like there's been years where I have not spent holidays with my parents before, but this was like I'm getting older, they're getting older, and like health is like just definitely all of on our minds. And to me, it's just like the constant time is drifting away, and it's like, will I get a next Christmas with them? And so watching this film, I was just like, it took me out of it. It took me out of that holiday blues of being like, wow, I could just watch this and kind of be happy. Like it was a very weird experience. And then watching it, still seeing all the stuff, I'm like, I don't like that though. But I was like, nah, and then I went to bed, and then I carried on with my life. So I was like, it still had the feel good vibes, which I really still enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
So, Josh,
yeah. So I suggested this movie because I really wanted to do it. This movie is a holiday tradition for my wife and I. It's like one of our movies. But I want to be very, very clear because I've been holding my cards to my chest. I am incredibly conflicted with this movie.
Yeah.
Like I love it, and there are many things, and there are things about it that I strongly dislike.
And so the feeling grows.
Mm-hmm.
That I strongly dislike.
Yeah.
And so it's very hard because there are so many scenes that I just love, and I love watching this movie. I really do. And there are some scenes that I just kind of, I notice that I didn't like it, and I kind of check out when they come on, and then the parts that I like come back, and I'm like, yay! But this movie is something that my wife and I we watch it every single year, probably a couple of times. There are many parts about it that are very feel good and very make me feel all warm and fuzzy. And I don't feel it in my toes. No, I'm just kidding.
But Christmas is all around us.
I don't remember the first time that I saw this. It came back into my life when I started dating my now wife. And we started...
Shout out to your now wife.
Because Christmas for me actually wasn't a pleasant holiday. It wasn't something that I look forward to. It wasn't a holiday. It was just kind of Christmas. Okay, it's Christmas time. I worked retail for a lot of my life, and
I just finally started liking Christmas again.
Yeah.
Like the music, because I worked retail for so long.
Yeah. And I worked at Hollywood Video,
I was getting
and
into the worst part of my year.
Working at a video
But also
store.
this song helps.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Christmas is all around.
Working at a video store, it was a 365 business. And so I just got like that, and holidays weren't always the happiest time, blah, 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 blah. My wife has reinvigorated my love for Christmas, and movies is one of those things. And one of these, and this movie is in that list. So it's, yeah, I mean, I do like this movie a lot. I will watch it anytime it's on. So,
but you don't have blinders on.
But I don't have. Watching it for this episode, I was like, ooh,
yeah,
ooh.
Cool. Well, there. That should give you an idea of the ratings at the end of the show. So yeah, buckle up, get ready for that. Tom, where are we going next?
Now we go to our next two segments, which are going to be still spoiler free, which are going to be our brief synopsis and then our production.
Great. Brief synopsis is a sentence long.
Yes.
9 intertwining stories examine the complexities of the one emotion that ties us all together, love.
Oh,
Actually.
what a
It's like Crash before Crash.
Yeah.
A great
I
sentence.
feel it in my.
Was this before Crash? Yeah, Crash
Yeah,
was
it's-
2005.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's one that did it better, I think. I love
Don't
Crash.
let the internet know that.
They don't like Crash?
Oh, they
Oh.
tore that shit up.
Oh,
Interesting.
really? Oh, that's for
It
some.
won the Academy Award for Best Picture, and they tore it up. And
I haven't
Tom-
watched it since 2006. So
I don't know if I'm saying this right, but Ta-Nehisi Coates, he is the writer for Black Panther and for Captain America comic books. Destroyed that shit. Anyway, so we're gonna go to we're going to the production, everyone, for Love Actually. This is the episode we're doing is Love Actually.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
It's distributed by Universal Pictures, best known for the Halloween franchise, the Three Flavors Cornetto trilogy, and the 50 Shades franchise. Sorry, I got to do my nails hand right here. Directors is Richard Curtis, Pirate Radio, and also About Time,
Pirate
and Red
Radio.
Nose Day.
I haven't
Actually,
heard
short.
that movie in a minute.
About Time.
No, Pirate Radio.
Oh,
In a while.
It's been a while.
And so for the producers, there's like 40 producers. So Duncan Kenworthy, who worked on Fraggle Rock, Notting Hill, and the Jim Henson Hour. Deborah Hayward, who worked on The Matchmaker, Captain Corelli's Mandolin, and Ned Kelly. Tim Bevan, who worked on Yesterday, Baby Driver, We Are Your Friends, Caitlin's favorite. Lisa Chazen, who worked on About a Boy, Johnny English, and
About a boy.
and also Eric Fellner, who worked on Cats, also Caitlin's favorite, About Time, and then Les Miserables. The writers is this director, which is Richard Curtis.
35, but that's fine.
Richard Curtis, who wrote Four Weddings and a Funeral, Bridget Jones' Diary, and Warhorse. The cast is Hugh Grant from Notting Hill, The Undoing on HBO Max, and The Gentleman, Josh's favorite, and Liam Neeson's, who worked on Kinsey, Darkman, and Les Miserables. Oh, such a good one. Colin Firth. Oh, I love this. He was on A Single Man, The Kingsman, and The King's Speech. Anyways. So, and then Laura Linney, who was on Man of the Year, Nocturnal Animals, and The Big C. Emma Thompson from Howard's End, Sense and Sensibility, and Saving Mr. Banks. Alan Rickman, R.I.P. and peace. Robin Hood, Prince of Thieves, Die Hard, and Dogma. Not Harry Potter. Yeah, he's in Harry Potter. Keira Knightley from Imitation Game, Atonement, and Domino. Martine McCutcheon from Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, Jump, and EastEnders TV show. Bill Nighy from Corey's favorite, Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, Underworld Evolution, and Pirates of the Caribbean. And Caitlin's also favorite, Mr. Rowan Atkinson from The Lion King, Rat Race, and Scooby-Doo. The release date for the film, November 14th, 2003. Runtime, 136 minutes. The budget / gross, it was budgeted for $45 million, and it grossed $248.5 million, baby. The Rotten Tomato score is 64% from critics from 222 users, and the audience is from 72% approval rating from 31,626,919 users. So they feel it
Can
in
I just
their
tie
toes.
Colin Firth even deeper into Nerd On?
Yes.
Before the actor Ben Whishaw was cast as Paddington, Colin Firth was their first choice.
Josh.
But then he came in, read the lines. It wasn't quite right. And then Ben came in and they were like, there it is.
So everybody
Colin
knows.
was like, I sound like the narrator of the books. I don't sound like the bear.
So
like,
you're
you're right.
telling me when the other guy came in and the casting director saw him, they were like, "It's Ben."
Oh
Yeah.
my god. They were also like, Josh will see this cinema.
Josh will love
Yeah,
this
piece
So
of
anyway-
everybody knows the Paddington movies are my favorite movies of all time.
of all time.
They are
We have
a
decided
world
that
treasure.
for him, and
So
Yeah.
if you see those on the Guess That Grump page, don't fucking vote for Josh. Don't do
Or
it.
please
Or
vote
do
for
it because
Josh.
it's funny.
I would
Even
love it.
Patrick Willems says they are.
Yeah.
So our next few parts are going to be our spoiler full favorite parts, favorite characters, our qualms, and then our rating. Go ahead, Corey.
I want to talk about something that I learned this time around, and it made these scenes become my favorite. Because I read something about one of the writers, And
Was it
the
that they left
Rowan
it open so
Atkinson
people
character,
can improvise?
Rowan Atkinson, who plays the jewel salesman, and then the guy who distracts the guards at the end of the film, was written opposite of the, what is it, Mia? Is that her name? The secretary that Alan Rickman
Oh yeah.
has an affair
Oh,
with? Is it
Mia.
Mia,
Oh, yeah.
right?
She's the devil and he's.
An angel. He's a guardian
Mia,
angel.
yeah,
And
yeah.
so I didn't know that it was on purpose. I always saw it as like, oh, that's, so he was actually written as trying to stall as long as he could on purpose so that Alan Rickman wouldn't buy the jewelry. And he's there as a guardian angel watching over Liam
Sam.
Neeson's and his sons at the end of the film, which is why he just like winks at him when he leaves.
Daddy
And
likes that.
I liked that it was an actual, it's canon, baby.
I like
canon.
Yeah.
Daddy likes that a lot.
So those scenes became much more fun for me. I mean, you can't go wrong with Rowan Atkinson. He is one of my favorite physical comedians. He has this great bit. If you get a chance to check it out online, he used to do a one-man show where he does an invisible drum set, and it is one of the most amazing things I've ever seen in my entire life.
He's actually a lot of people's like idol for physical comedy.
Yeah, I was going to
Kaylin,
say.
I know,
See it.
Kaylin, and I'm going to say this, and I don't say this often, but you are wrong. You don't have to like it, but you will be wrong.
What are you talking about?
I heard that. We all heard that.
No,
'Cause you
it's
think about
it's-
Johnny
it's-
English, or
Yeah, I think I actually love Rowan Atkinson.
yeah,
He's
Mr.
amazing.
Mr.
Zazu.
But it's
Mr.
hard for me to watch the secondhand embarrassment. But he's really fucking good at it.
his gift wrapping scene in this is just phenomenal. The way he like smells the lavender and then breaks it and then like puts
Well,
the
he
rose
palms
petals.
one of them too. It was perfect.
But
And also,
it's
he's
a very-
like, oh,
it's almost like
It's
the
not a bag.
it's Salt Bay.
the Salt Bay.
It's gift wrap Bay. He did it before it was cool.
Yeah, it's true. And then like telling him this is not a bag. You're like, it's not.
So much more.
That whole scene is phenomenal.
I'll get
yeah.
into this. Liam Neeson's scenes with Sam.
Liam Neeson scenes.
Liam Neeson scenes with Sam always just they tug on the heartstrings, and also knowing that Liam Neeson's wife passed away just a few years after this movie, like pulls on the heartstrings a little bit more. But the scene in which, like the funeral scene, I just love Liam Neeson in this movie, and just watching as and the other thing about it is that he's a stepdad.
Mm-hmm.
And that to me, it tugs on my heartstrings because I had an amazing stepdad. I have
like
a
a bio
bio
boy.
dad too, but I have an amazing stepdad that even after he and my
Ditto.
mom got divorced, he took me on.
Oh,
And
wow.
so like seeing this, I'm like, seeing amazing stepdads is always like, I just love it.
To add to that, like as a kid who, my dad remarried, and I was a kid who like fucking just did not accept anyone other than my nuclear family. It's definitely a hard play to be that stepdad character.
Yeah.
So it's like, it definitely pulls on the proper strings.
Yeah.
Especially
Well, the
for,
moment
like-
he calls him dad at the end instead of Daniel.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I just do.
And it's
I
glossed
wanna,
over. It's not like a big moment.
I want to make
Which
a
is
quick
good.
shout out to, I have two amazing dads. Like I have a stepdad. Both my dads are really cool, but my stepdad, he really, even my dad will go, no, you get this one. You took care of my
Yeah.
son. So
Yeah, I call him dad.
Yeah.
I wrote the same thing. I just wrote Liam Neeson's I just wrote his name because I was telling my wife when we watched it, my now wife, that
Now if
if they cut out the rest of the film and just left the 20 minutes of the Liam Neeson storyline, I'd be like, that was a great movie. That was a great movie. 5 stars.
one of my favorite parts, I think this is kind of bearing the lead a little bit, but I love Billy Mack. I love Bill Nighy's character. Like watching this as an adult now, I'm like, that's me.
Yeah.
Like
Oh,
he is this
no.
guy who I love what he said. That the amount of truth is like, well, wouldn't it be great if some washed out has-been made it to be number one instead of these like pop stars?
Mm-hmm.
And it's like there is that like sense of like we don't revere the past artists enough in my mind. But then also like he just kind of like knows what's happening. It's like a complete sellout for the holiday season. But also when he's on his press junket, he's just like, screw it. I was like, I'll go butt naked and just give it to your face.
Yeah.
He's like, let me see it. And he does it. And so he does all these things that are super real. And it's all the stuff that I really think that like Dave Chappelle does right now that I really enjoy. That's just kind of like, you don't typically get to do these kind of things. These aren't normal things to do, but it's someone who has nothing to lose and like in his mind, nothing to live for. And so his whole story arc at the very end was my absolute favorite. Like where he's like, the person who I should be spending Christmas with is a person who's been with me for almost 50 years.
Oh, that was so
and I was just
good.
like, yeah, it's great. And he's like, I love you. It's like, but I love you. It's like that.
In that scene where
that's such good.
when he goes in for a handshake and he goes, "Don't be a moron," but still the hug is very like
macho, like,
like very.
and then they like separate. They're like,
let's watch porn.
I wrote
eat steak.
Tom. I wrote Bill Nye guitar confessional because when he's doing it, he's doing this like guitar move is you, and it kills me every time.
I like because he's also struggling
so hard. He's like,
well, because he's realizing it at the same time.
Fortunately,
well, because
the
he's
love
lived
of
a
my
true
life.
yeah. He lived a true rock star life. He had all the
Everything
the
he
shags, the best
Left
shags,
Elton
and the best
John's party.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's like, but like the person that's the most important to him, who's stuck with him through thick and thin, is his manager. So like I found that to me that was like probably the most actual Christmassy story in the film, where everything else was just love story.
Kaylin?
Sam talking to his dad or his stepdad about like why he's being quiet the whole time. And they're sitting on that bench. He's like, tell me, even if I can't do anything, I want to, I want to do whatever I can. He's like, I'm in love. And he's like, he like laughs at it at first. He's like,
the turmoil of love. No, you're
he's
right.
like, what's, he's like, what's worse than like
being in love and not
death
being able to
of
do
being
anything
in
about it.
love? And he's like, oh no, you're right. Sorry.
Yeah,
I just,
right.
that whole interaction was so cute. And I
Guess
also
what,
love
Corey? Oh, sorry.
the prime minister and Natalie meeting for the first time.
Oh,
Is it
yeah.
Natalie?
It's a meet cute. It's a good meet
Yeah.
cute.
Where she's like,
At
shit.
least you didn't say, I've said
Fuck.
shit twice now.
Oh, fuck.
And then he goes, well, at least you didn't say fuck. We'd be in trouble. She's like, oh, thank you, sir. I had a terrible premonition that I'd fuck it up on the first day. And he's like,
It's a wonderful meet cute.
Oh,
Yeah.
But guess what? I like Sam as a character, Corey. You know why?
because he's not an idiot kid.
He's written like an adult, but with kid ingenuity.
Here's a fun fact. That kid and Keira Knightley are only 5 years apart in age.
So wait, are we
no,
seeing
no. I'm sorry.
the
Stop.
alternate version of Star
Dana taught me
Wars?
this. Dana taught me this. He's 13 in the film. I mean, I don't know if he's playing a 13-year-old, but the actor was 13. Keira Knightley was 18. So they're 5 years difference.
Wow, he's 30 years old right now.
Yeah, he's in.
Oh my
the
God.
Queen's Gambit.
This was 17 years ago. That adds up.
Yeah.
Queen's Gambit, he still has that baby face.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
Oh
does.
my God, that's him. Oh
Yeah.
my God, that's him.
Yeah,
So they're 5 year difference. Isn't that weird to think about? 5 years?
5 years, and
That's
she's
all
getting
it is.
married.
There's a lot of processing happening right now.
There's a lot.
That's why Phantom Menace works.
Of
Are you an angel?
I mean, extension of the meet cute with the prime minister and Natalie. I love all of their storyline. Is probably my favorite. I've realized recently that I'm actually a pretty big Hugh Grant fan.
Yeah. He is
Yeah.
It's stupid, it's unreasonable, and he makes it looks like it's so effortless of how charming he is.
Yeah.
But
Corey's
it's
like,
funny. But it's
No,
funny.
I
'cause,
love
like,
Four Weddings and a Funeral. I think that's a phenomenal film. He's so good in that. I just think in real life, he's an idiot because.
No, yeah. So
well.
so in The Undoing, he had an interview saying he's like, well, this is the character I typically I relate to more. Not because he's a terrible person, but I'm not this guy on Notting Hill and all these other guys who stumble upon their words and are very charming and stuff like that.
Mhm.
So that's
No, because in real life, I mean, he's learned a lot. He's come a long way. He's admitted to it. He cheated on his wife, who at the time was like,
oh
do you
yeah,
know who his wife was?
Bedazzled, right?
Yeah.
Elizabeth Hurley.
Inventor
Yeah.
of the Bedazzler.
Yeah,
Elizabeth Hurley from like Austin Powers and stuff, who is like bae for days.
Bay
She
for
is.
days.
And he's an idiot. He ruined it. So,
But we were all young and dumb, and hopefully they're on good terms.
Mhm.
I'm not gonna. I'm my
Anyway,
future wife.
my
I'm
point
telling
is
you, I'm
that
not gonna
I
cheat on you.
I liked the prime minister and Natalie scenes, especially into like the school play, that part. I mean,
the nods to Monica Lewinsky are unreal.
yeah. Yeah.
I didn't catch that when I was younger, but
yeah.
boy, when I was
Yeah.
older, did I?
Yeah.
was like, I get what you're playing at here.
I do enjoy. I mean, it's very as a writer, director, whatever, filmmaker. I see the setup immediately with Colin Firth's character with his wife, and I'm just like, oh, no,
with
his own brother.
You
were my brother.
I was just like, oh, I just saw it. I'm like, no, it's gonna happen. And when it happens, you're like, oh, I feel bad. And the thing about Colin Firth, he's a very good canvas to play. Man, I feel so bad for him. I just feel so bad for him.
Yeah.
But like his whole writing up in a cabin, and then like all the
Tom's
papers
like,
go out.
yes.
I was just like, that's nice. That must be nice. But also, fucking use copy. And also,
My other favorite thing I wrote down here is the convo matching in those scenes.
Yeah.
Where they're on the same brain.
They're on the same. They're basically having conversations without knowing that they're having conversations, and I thought it was so wonderfully done, and it wasn't like totally forced and in your face about it.
Yeah.
They're not quite having conversations, but they're just missing each other on the language barrier. You know, where she like jumps in and she's like, "I really hope this is worth it. I'm not dying for something my grandma would write." And he's like, "It really isn't worth it. It's terrible, right? Like, I should make copies. Why doesn't this fucking idiot use copies?" Like, I think they just did it really, really well. And
It's cute.
That was the first thing they shot before anyone else's scenes was that storyline.
Oh.
And I think the ending is really nice. Like, it's not like a typical Hollywood ending where it's like, I love you till the day I die. It's like, will you marry me? Like, I think we can make this work. And all the while he's speaking in like super broken Portuguese. And you find out that she's been learning English.
Yeah.
And she like speaks in really broken English. And
what's the story with the like, I cut my hair so I can buy you this comb. Well, I cut my hair so I can buy you this comb story,
Yeah.
where it's like, I'm learning this language to talk to you. It's like, oh, I've been learning. It's like,
When
oh.
she started
And even the
speaking English
subtitles
too.
are broken, which I love. Like, where he's like, you know, it's speaking in plurals when it doesn't need to be. And like, I just think it's a really, out of all of
Very
them, it's
sweet.
probably the most simple storyline, but it's definitely up on the like top 3 favorite ones from these 9. Is that whole? It's just sweet and simple and warm. It feels like a warm blanket.
And it's also very equal. Like, it's
Yes.
not like white
power
guy
play.
goes to a different country and is like, I like you, be my wife. And she's like,
No, they
okay.
just met by his old housekeeper being like, hey, I found someone who can tend the house. And he's like, oh, okay. And then the first time he's driving her home and he's like, can't stop talking. And she's
Bello.
like kind of
Bello.
laughing about it. Yeah.
She's like, oh,
He's like,
you're
But
dumb.
the
But
I
it's
love
cute.
Talking.
I love the that specifically with them, the interchange of like, it's the saddest part of my day, or it's you know when it's just oh god,
Yeah.
oh
right through the heart.
I mean,
Neither of them know.
The funny thing is, I was watching it, recently. I've watched it before, but preparing for this, the whole ending sequence is their story combined with the prime minister's story, and it's just the most cross-cutty thing. I'm like, my God, like. Nolan, you gotta pay a check, man. Like, I see what you're doing. Like, the tension is being so built. I was just like laughing. I was like, oh my goodness. Like, but to me, it was just like, it's a very tense moment because like you kind of already had like a climax to begin with when like the prime minister is like meeting Natalie at her house, but it's like they're still cross-cutting with other things. I'm like,
She comes down the stairs. Where the
I'm like,
fuck's my
this isn't
fucking coat?
no, like this isn't epic anymore. Like, it was just kind of really funny watching. I'm like, I get what they were trying to go for, and I think it worked then, but now like the cross-cutting works very differently.
You just reminded me, another one of my favorite parts is when the kids ask him to carol and he starts singing and he turns to his driver and his driver
my
is this
God.
wonderful baritone
Oh, yeah.
opera singer.
That
And
was one of my favorite
the look
parts
in
for
his eyes is just
sure.
like, okay.
Whoa.
I did like that line where he's like, "Are you the prime minister?" Like, well, yes, it's part of our service now. Hopefully, sorry about everything this year. We'll do better next year.
Yeah.
And it's just, yeah. I mean, again, to Josh's point, Hugh Grant is stupid charming.
Yeah.
Mhm. True facts.
one of my favorite parts is
Watch
more
the
of an
gentleman.
overarching concept of this movie, and like, I mean, the box says the ultimate romantic comedy, and I don't really think that it is the ultimate romantic comedy. I do think that it's a really good love movie because love is not always clean. Love is sometimes incredibly messy. And I like that this movie, because I've preparing for this episode, I mean, there are a slew of articles and things talking about how this is one of the worst movies ever made, or this is like
What?
all of these
Very
different things.
polarizing as a film.
Very
Yeah.
polarizing.
Wow.
And so reading through it, it's like, okay, I can kind of see that. But being a married man and the experiences that I have had, even with Bonnie, in a romantic relationship, I mean, love is very messy sometimes in terms of like emotionally messy, and people make stupid decisions, and it's a part of it's a part of the process. And I like that this movie shows that that it's not always just yay, you know.
Love.
That being said, you brought up Bonnie, and I said this before in our digital green room, and again, I say this, and I say this, and I hope this comes off as a compliment. But when I was seeing Laura Linney and not her character, I was like, she kind of reminds me of Bonnie.
Okay.
Like, and I was like, every time I see her, I'm like, she kind of reminds me of Bonnie. And I was like, in a very nice way, I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. Because, you know, sometimes you get a celebrity. I don't have a celebrity doppelganger. It's always Dante Bascom, and that's sad. So, what I was going to say was her story, Laura Linney's story, is actually pretty good.
Yeah.
The whole romantic interest thing in the fucking office, whatever. But the brother thing, I was like, I like it because. So the funny thing about this film is that it opens up with Hugh Grant being like, ever since blah blah blah, recent opinions have said that the world
Not
is
since
nothing
blah,
but
blah, blah.
greed.
It's 9/11.
Well, no. Well, he said something, and then he says the world thinks that it's filled with hatred and greed. And during 9/11, that's when he says, like, you don't think those phone calls being said were phone calls of hate.
Yeah.
They were of love.
Which
And
was
so
bold
the
at the time because this is only 2 years after 9/11.
Yeah,
It
and
was
so
very,
like
very recent.
yeah, and that's why I say the blah buzz in the beginning. But the 9/11 whole bit where he's like, I think of Heathrow gate, whatever. And to me, so it kind of as a film has this promise that it's going to show you all this love, all the love that's around us, and you let it show. It was sorry, Josh.
The song is back.
That was a thing where, Laura Linney's character and her brother, and then the cautionary tale of Alan Rickman's character. And then, for some reason, those stories don't make me feel Love Actually. They make me feel like love is. And how, to your point, Josh, of like, at the end of it, I watched the film like, God, that's not like, it feels bad, feels weird. Like my parents, this is like, to pull back the veil a little bit. Like my mom like pieced out on Christmas. So like Christmas time has always been a very weird time. Not when I was a kid, as an adult, I'm like, I gotta see my parents. But like things, even though like people were like, oh, I'm gonna dump all my emotions on Front Street on Christmas Day because Christmas
Is when you tell the truth.
And but it's kind of like some people choose to spend their Christmas taking care of the people who need them or who they love, like their family members who can't take care of themselves. And so while the film talks about romance and finding love and connecting with people, it's also about like who's important to you, right? So the Bill Nye story, and also to me, the Laura Linney, like just them, and like there's a really, I love the moment where he lashes out and almost hits her, and she stops and says, "Don't do that, don't do that." And
My
then,
darling.
like, they embrace after that, and it's like there's this like, even though it may not seem the most sexy way of doing Christmas, it's like, but this is real. Like this is a chance to actually do something and show like a reality where it's not trying to be a sob story, but it's trying to be like she as a character, has a boss that, wants her to be happy, and she has a chance to be, romantically involved with somebody, but understands what's more important is her family. So like I adored those moments because as it flourished out, like it was like, oh, like this is much more important than, this writer finding someone that he likes after his significant other's cheating on him, right? Like to me, those are more important stories because those stories are a dime a dozen, right? Like again, those are the romance stories, but this is like the Christmas story. Like this is the actual Christmas story. So it's very interesting where it's like sometimes it's Love Actually, sometimes it's Christmas Actually,
and the subverting of expectations of the two people that are stand-ins in pornography.
Oh man,
it turns into a very sweet story, and you're watching it.
They
And you're
get
like,
fucking engaged.
Yeah.
How excited he is about a kiss after spending a whole day with her, like
Naked.
Sexually on
and,
top
like,
of
you know
him.
what I mean? It's such
Yeah.
a sweet subversion that you're like, oh, that's right, that was all work, and that when it means something, it really is special.
Yeah, I think that's the
He
they can
warms up
play
his
with
hands.
they could play with that with like the
So
sex
sweet.
addict
So
story
sweet.
where like the person like you would think is desensitized.
Oh,
of,
with
like,
English Matthew Lillard, yeah.
sure.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Oh my God, you're right.
It's I thought that was really to your point, Corey. I was like, it's very sweet and genuine. Where like he gets to, like, you want to go out for like a Christmas drink, and
Yeah.
she's like, yeah. And he's like, that's lovely. He's like, oh, cool. I'm just really glad. It's really hard to find somebody that I can
I can talk to and like,
And I
yeah.
was like, no, that's awesome.
I feel like we would be remiss if we didn't talk about a performance or two. That was going to be one of my things I talked about, was the sweet kiss at the end. It's just like him jumping down this, being so excited after spending all day with her and the way he did, and just being like, a genuine kiss is like, and a date is like very sweet.
Exciting.
I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Emma Thompson's performance.
Oh my God. Yeah.
First of all, throughout this whole film, and I love that her and Daniel have been close friends their whole lives, and she's there for him and can be really honest with him in those moments where he's having a hard time, and she's like, look, no one's going to date you if you're a sad sack all the time. Like, being able to make him laugh. But like the moment where she has to, obviously everyone knows, very famous moment in the movie, where she has to cry and put herself back together as if nothing's wrong, because now's not the time to,
For the
Yeah.
kids.
got to be there for the kids.
To pull it together. Like,
Which she drew, I mean, she talked about in interviews that she drew upon a real experience she had where she was dating Kenneth Branagh, and he had an affair, and she had to kind of do the same thing as put on a face for a minute and then deal with it afterwards. Because that storyline doesn't work without her. Like, I think it's obviously it's a very traumatic, but like you said, Daima doesn't, but I think Emma Thompson brings that whole thing to another level of, all right, let me gather myself. Oh yeah, everyone's ready. Hey. And then like, running into her brother.
It's the moment where she opens it and you see the facial expressions of like realizing that it's not the necklace, it's a fucking Joni Mitchell CD, and her like to the kids one, like you're seeing it on the
Excuse me.
face.
Yeah.
Like,
And then the hug she gives Hugh Grant, her brother, in the hallway,
oh yeah.
where she's like, I've never been more happy to see you right now. I just think, I mean, she's a Emma Thompson is a national treasure. I just want to go out and say that. Like, she is good in everything, but this is just such a, going from the kind of, she's so silly and jokey and quick-witted in the beginning of the film, even saying like, after 13 years, I don't think I would expect a necklace, mister. Here's another scarf. I thought you liked scarves. Like, it's just a great turn. It's a really wonderful turn for the
I like
character.
it it's very reminiscent of like, my experiences at the very end at the Heathrow gate where she sees Alan Rickman. It's like, I'm good. How are you? Then I was
Yeah. Good to have you back. We're still figuring it out.
yeah, it's so like, oh my God.
and here's
like,
a little
there's so
fan-
much behind it.
Little fan theory, if we can play with this a little bit. There's a fan theory that Daniel has always been in love with Karen.
Daniel. Which
The
one is
dad,
Daniel?
Liam Neeson's.
Daniel's Liam Neeson's.
They've been friends forever, and
And
a
that's
lot
why
of
he
people-
calls her.
He calls her, and he also meets Claudia Schiffer at the end, which is the joke, right? Because his wife always said, bring Claudia Schiffer to my funeral or whatever, and then he meets Claudia Schiffer
Carol
playing
Ann.
Carol. But what does he accidentally call her?
Karen.
Yeah.
Karen.
Oh, yeah.
I have another fan theory.
Huh.
Oh.
So Mark,
That it's all a dream.
yeah. It's
No.
so Mark, his friend
Your
marries
boy.
the girl that he loves, and after he confesses, he moves to Georgia, changes his name to
Oh.
Rick,
Oh,
gets
yeah.
married.
Oh,
the
my
zombie apocalypse
God.
breaks out. It's one
And
universe.
Do you
And
know what
guess
this
what?
is, Josh?
Stretching?
That's a stretch.
And guess what? Guess what? John Bernthal's right. You can't protect a wreck.
He also changed his entire accent to a country Georgia accent.
He
and
was
lied to
committed.
everybody.
He was committed.
He
I
was
will
so
say-
hurt.
Even
by
though when he walks
that.
away, he goes, that was enough. So he's fine with it.
I will say
He
this.
still went through it.
He needed to change his life completely.
The teenage boy, the teenage version of Tom has to speak out real quick.
Yeah.
Because I definitely feel like
It's a very interesting sell because the character, what's his face? The two film guys
Andrew-
and the one guy goes to America.
Oh, yeah.
And he like, I'm
Colin.
gonna go.
God
Colin.
of sex.
Yes, and
English
I
Matthew
love
Lillard.
the
I'm gonna stick
line.
with that.
I'm gonna go into America and it's gonna be great. I'm going to Wisconsin.
Yeah.
And I was just like, you hear LA, New York, the sexy names and all that stuff, right? But like he goes there and then everything happens for him, right? Like I
Everything.
remember rewatching it recently and being like, that's January Jones. And I'm like, oh my God. And it's like, I was just like, oh my God, Denise Richards. Like, I was just like watching this movie and being like, man, like everyone is in this movie. And I just thought that was just a really kind of like,
They went to the casting directors and went, just get everyone. Just
to Corey, to a
everyone.
little bit of Corey
Ding, ding,
thing
ding,
in a sense where it's like, it felt like a funny commercial. It felt like a funny commercial in the midst of all this stuff where it's like, there's this guy, he just wants to do this thing. And then his friend who just doesn't like support it ends up also taking part of like, hey, like also we are seen as attractive by all these beautiful American women. But that going being said, like, I don't know. I was just watching this movie and I was like, man, I'm really attracted to all the people in this movie. They're all very,
Really
like,
very pretty people.
it's what she says is like, you have very, very attractive friends. But the whole,
Table.
yeah.
Table. Well, that's the same. That's the same.
That's
I also really like the Prime Minister story. Just the small tidbit of it. It was just like done in 2 scenes where Billy Bob Thornton, I'm America.
oh God,
goes in and
just
he's
slap
just like,
you in the
we
face.
got what we wanted, and it's always a good thing in our special relationship. And then he's just like, you know, he does his speech, and it's like, so our relationship will change. I'm like, da da da. That's the story. And so I just kind of liked. I was like, wow, that was really done. That was so quick. And so now he has to go off and chase after his catering woman.
yeah.
So,
Who's catering?
yeah.
Oh, the octopus kid getting out of the car.
Oh my God.
Oh, okay. Wait. That is in my notes, actually. The octopus kid is the best.
Exiting the car, and he's like shoving him at the end of it. He's like full on puts his get out of the car.
Yeah.
I also like how flat faced he is for the whole conversation.
He's dead
It's just like
eyes.
he's dead.
He's got ice in the
completely
veins.
dead.
They probably told the kid like, don't do anything.
He's
like-
imagining all his toys being burned in front of him. That's what's happening.
He's looking into the void, and the void is afraid of him.
Oh, also one thing. This would be like a qualm if I wanted to make it a qualm, but this is the thing I loved because it was so stupid. So after Sam and Daniel do the thing with the kid with you know saying your love that you like her and all that stuff, and he gets back to Daniel, and then Liam Neeson grabs him and holds him, carries him. He has glitter in his
Stiff arm.
hands.
He does?
And
Yeah,
then he
he
drops
lets go
it.
of glitter.
And I was like, what is the glitter? I was like, where'd he get the glitter from?
I wonder
don't know
why he
either. I
was
saw that
stiff
last
arming
time.
so hard.
I was
because
just
he's
like,
letting go of glitter.
I was like,
He's got
what?
glitter in his hands. He's letting.
What
he's going
term
like
would you
this.
go to? Like, you know, I was like, I don't know if
Did
you understand.
you know that a deleted scene from that movie that they never ended up putting in was that Sam was actually supposed to be depicted as like a gymnast? And they were supposed to have all these things about how he's this great gymnast, and then he's like being sad about life and things. And then at the end, they had actually already shot scenes for him to be like gymnast flipping his way past and around the police.
Oh, dope.
I kind of like that. There was a
Hell
moment where
yes.
I was watching it with my boy Ian, and then I was just like, that can't happen. How is these grown men not outrunning this child?
Love,
Because he was gymnast flipping away.
He's powered
so
by
He
love.
like
love.
flips off of like he does this like
Love and caffeine.
what was it? He was on like on those different tiers, and there were like 2 bars. So he does this whole bar routine to like flip down
He's
and
Dick
then just
Grayson.
like bye, and
Yeah,
then
he's Dick
goes
Grayson.
away.
He's Nightwing. I guess.
Yeah.
That kid. Shout out to that kid. By the way, he actually learned how to play the drums for the role.
I saw that when I saw him.
actually
Like I was like,
playing the
he's
drums.
on beat right now.
Yeah,
I'm
he
gonna
learned for the role.
gonna
His dad's
stop-
a drummer.
Oh,
real
that
life.
makes sense.
I'm gonna stop calling him a kid because he's older than me.
The kid in the movie.
The kid in the movie. There we go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Favorite characters?
Favorite characters and qualms?
Favorite characters. Go. Who wants to go first?
I will. Fine. Tom already knows my first favorite character because I have dad issues. Dead issues. It's not a dad.
Oh,
it's a
so
dead
it's
issue.
Neeson's.
It's Neeson's all the way. Like I honestly was serious when I said you could cut the rest of the film out, leave that storyline in, and I would
Wow.
still give it a 5. Like that's the one I care about most every time I watch this movie. The rest is like yeah. Okay, here we are again.
Yeah, whatever movie. Bye.
And then my second favorite character is actually Karen.
Oh yeah.
You want that canon to happen?
Oh,
I do. I think it's sweet. I think they deserve each other, but I just think that Emma Thompson's whoever wrote her character and the way she played it is very real, and it's not that it doesn't feel very Hollywoodized where she like has this big moment where she tells him off. She just has that like after the show is just like, so what would you do if you found out? And then she's like, I don't want to make a big deal about it. We'll talk about it later, but I just want you to know that I know, and we'll figure it out. And it hits every time.
hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next, I'll go. Phil Knight, Billy
Yeah.
Mack.
Oh,
Number one.
yeah, of course.
I like it because I think what I really enjoy is that he's very cynical. Is that like I feel the same way about a lot of things, I think, where it's just kind of like we all know what we're doing. This is like this whole dance and all that stuff and pretending, blah blah. But like he kind of at the very end, I wouldn't say he's like Grinch, heart grows 3 sizes too big, where it's
No,
like it's
he's
more
just
like
real.
he accepts like, well, Christmas is supposed to be about this thing, so at least I might as well do my part during it.
I wouldn't
And it's
leave
like, you
Elton
are-
John.
you
So
are.
I've just got to be real. No, just kidding.
You wouldn't,
No?
you wouldn't leave-
Okay.
I said it. I think I don't know if I said it on the episode or in the digital green room, but if he was a real rock star on TV, I would be like super fan
About
for
it.
the way he acts. I'm just like, this dude's like, it's like that how Jim Carrey is just very honest now, where you're like, oh, no one's had the balls to come out and say it. Cool. Like that's what he does throughout this whole movie. You're like, respect it. Like when he draws on the,
he's like, we have little pricks, but also
Yeah.
it's like, hey, we have a lot of kids. Like, kids. Don't buy drugs, but also when
never
you're a
pay
star,
for drugs. Yeah.
You'll
They give it to you
they'll
for
just give
free.
it for free. And that's the thing where it's like, obviously and that's the thing where it's like, I feel like his character has gone beyond all those things, right? Like he's lived his druggy years, he lived all those things,
Yeah.
that's all past in him.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he's like, what
just-
about me makes you think I'm a kid's role model?
yeah, but also
Why
he's
would
like,
you
what?
bring me on the show?
He's like, also, but he's like, this is shit, and he's like, yep, it's gold shit.
Solid gold shit, maestro.
And that's the thing where it's like he is so aware of what he plays in his role. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
And then second favorite character, the one that kind of made me care about things, probably Prime Minister. I liked just a little bit of he hasn't been able to have a relationship because of how busy he's been. And then like when it kind of happens, he's kind of like, okay, well,
Excuse me.
shit, maybe I should do something about it. Yeah, I mean, everyone else has their own good things. It almost was Jamie, but I was kind of just like, nah, that shit don't happen.
Yeah.
That
Which
shit
one's
don't
Jamie?
happen. Jamie's Colin Firth, where
Oh.
he's just like, I'm sad. Also, my answers happened in like 2 weeks later. And also, I learned kind of a language in a week. And I was like,
I mean, he's speaking it well enough to have learned it what he needs to say in a week.
I mean, I liked the part where he came to his family's house, like, actually, I'm out. Peace.
Yeah.
And they're like,
I
"What?
hate
What do you
Uncle
hate Uncle
Jamie.
Jamie?"
I hate him. The kids turn on him
Kids-
so
The
fast.
kid's looking straight in the camera doing it. I'm like,
What does he say? A man's got to do what a man's got to do.
you gotta do? Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah.
I hate because at first don't they all come Uncle Jamie?
Yeah.
I hate Uncle Jamie.
Kayla?
Love it.
So that's me.
That's some Corey ass humor right there.
I think I really like the I have to pick
Yeah.
with Carl and what is her name?
You're talking about Mark and Keira Knightley's character, Juliet?
No, not at all. Office
Laura
Romance
Linney.
with the brother.
Laura
Oh.
Linney.
Yeah,
Oh, so
Laura
Sarah.
Linney. Sarah,
Sarah.
there it is. I really liked Sarah. That was just like heartbreaking but very real.
Oh, when she puts on all the makeup and he just goes, good night. She's like, good night. And you're like,
And then she's like,
tried
like
so
that
hard.
internal struggle of like her anxiety is so strong. Like that was a very real thing for me. And then next up would be Sam. Cause Sam is just like so he's
he's
like,
emotionally
this is-
intelligent for an 11-year-old.
He's very emotionally intelligent, and he
Maybe
learns
he's
how
a
to play the
well-written
drums
child.
like super well in a very short amount of time. And like he's not actually like not talking to his stepdad. He just thinks the stepdad won't understand, so he just doesn't open up about it. So, but when the door is open, he all of a sudden talks about everything. So, those two are my favorite, I think.
I did feel a little angry at him for being upset when she turns away from the audience, gives the first long you to him, and then he gets mad that she's not pointing to anyone while saying and you and you and you and you. And I'm like, what are you getting jealous about, bro? She's pointing to the fucking lights.
Oh well, I mean, if you're a dumb kid.
Oh yeah, of course. You're just like, but it's only for me, and you should never move on at all ever.
Yeah,
love me and only me.
He seems more emotionally intelligent than that until that moment.
Yeah. Well, it's your first.
That's when the hormones kicked in, and then he didn't know what was going on anymore.
Your first heartbreak.
Yeah. For me, it is Daniel, Liam Neeson's character, and Natalie. I love Natalie. The Prime Minister storyline. I love her because she's just so real in the moment, and she's so sweet, and yeah. Qualmy Qualms?
Qualms.
Yes.
Qualms.
Who wants to go for you, Corey, or me?
Oh,
I'll go first.
Okay.
For me,
I'll go next.
And again, so I talk about films, watching it when it was made in 2003, right? I still don't fuck with Mark. Mark. He's a piece of shit. I'm sorry, Josh. I know he's your favorite guy in the world. Corey, you can't protect Rick.
Just because I like Walking Dead does not mean that it's my favorite.
He's your guy. I understand.
Just like Paddington, Josh. We've decided how you feel, and we've decided how you feel.
So these are two dumb things within it. First of all, he's asked Corey, tell me you wanted me to record your wedding.
Yes.
And you see me dancing with the camera.
Yeah.
No! That shit's gonna be shaky.
Well, that's not the problem.
Oh, I know. I'm just saying, that was the first thing I was like, this motherfucker.
His filming skills is
ruining
qualm.
this home video. I swear, because look, it's just like, it's just that thing like triggered me. It was just like Kill Bill, red screen on my face. I was so angry. But also, yeah, it's just that thing where it's just like, no, this shouldn't have a happy ending for him because it's also very shisty.
No, because here's the shitty thing about that video, Tom. If you came to my wedding and you shot only close-ups of my wife,
shout out to your wife,
and then pretended to lose that's a masturbation tape. Yeah. That's what that is.
Yeah,
that is what he did at his best friend's.
Shout out to your wife under your breath.
Wedding.
I wish shout out his wife. But yeah, it's a terrible thing. And so I was watching with my boy Ian, and I was like, tape. Man, what if I did that shit? That's some fucked up shit, like on all accounts. And it's like, maybe he's like, oh, and like they play it off as like, maybe he's gay and he likes Chiwetel's character. I'm like, no, this guy's a fucking freak. Fuck this guy.
Also, he's a total dick to her, like for their entire relationship.
Well, it's supposed to be like, and that's the thing where it's like,
it's the self-preservation thing.
It's the Twilighty shit. It's the like, well, I'm stalkery, but I'm good looking, so it's acceptable. It's like, you know what? Hey, look, homie, that's fiction. Secondly, a lot of people who are going to want to try and do this shit, no, just don't. Just fucking don't.
And you know what's super romantic when you're 15 is the cue cards. You know what's not when you're older and you've lived life and you're married?
Is the cue
thinking
cards.
That one of your best friends might do that to your wife? The cue cards. Not so great anymore. It's insanely selfish. Like
I mean, you know what I'm going to do, Corey? I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna make sure you leave, and I'm gonna go to your apartment, and I'm gonna have cue cards for Dana. I'm like, I just want to see your husband again.
Totally unrelated, just like.
But
until then,
the thing is, watching it now that I'm older, I could not have any less empathy for Mark in this entire.
Yeah, I would say watching it. I would say watching it. I was like, man, Keira Knightley's really pretty. That was my whole thing throughout the entire segments of those. I was like,
it's not even.
Man, she's so pretty.
It's
not even
the Mark thing.
Josh.
Go ahead, Josh.
I was gonna say it's not even. My problem with it isn't because he has feelings for his friend's girl. It's how all of these things that he does, like
super self-destructive and
it's just
selfish.
And Caitlin, what were you gonna say?
Oh well, I was gonna say this was one of those things where I was like, I'm not a fan of it, but I also kind of understand it. Something kind of similar to this, but not the same, happened to me before. So I'm just like, but like knowing that person made me understand like, oh, you're this weird guy who doesn't understand how emotions and boundaries work. It's not acceptable by any means, but it's like, well, you portrayed that type of person very well.
Sure.
So
I still don't think it's romantic how it's meant to be romantic.
right,
supposed to be
and
a
that
grand
was a bad
gesture.
choice. Like that shouldn't be framed as
Also,
anything romantic.
pretend it's carol singers and then play like a recorded mixed with the music in the back.
So-
Not even like real carol singers.
But
I know.
so now to me, it's like that relationship's also like wrought with like some lies in it. I'm like, oh
Yeah.
God.
Yeah.
And it's like live with that shit. And also, but like, and so that like, there's a part of me that's like, please have him have someone at the end. Like he's not deserving it, but also it's just like get them away from him. Like he needs to not be part of that pod anymore. So okay, cool. Now second qualm, and this is more of like I joke about the whole cross-cutting thing, but it is kind of the Jamie story, and it kind of falls in that same line of like there is like a little bit of like a grandeur-esque kind of thing of like going out and running after somebody, and it's like, but they used to work for you, so it's kind of like this thing. I'm not like, maybe, and that maybe again, this is me being a soy
At least she
boy.
doesn't currently work for him like the prime minister's story.
True. Yeah, and so that's the thing where it's like there's a whole lot of that. There's a whole lot of weird power dynamics that happen.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Mia.
and for me, I'm just kind of like, maybe I'm a soy boy, but I'm just like, maybe if they leave and then you just be like, hey, just like how Martin Freeman was like, do you want to get a Christmas drink? And then, but not chase them and find them at their homes.
yeah.
You know what I mean? Like the whole, I'm gonna find you at your home and I'm gonna do something. It's like, no.
No.
And like this, that's like me as a 13-year-old boy, maybe be like, yeah. Like,
That's what I'm saying.
I'm
At 15,
I'm
it's like, wow.
I'm a 13-year-old boy. I can't literally do much harm unless a parent like just doesn't care. And so it's like, as an adult, like these are grown ass adults. These are grown ass adults. You can't be doing
Grown
this
ass
shit.
adults.
And so I was watching it the other night, and I was just like, no, you can't do that. No, I was like that annoying person in the theater. I was like, no, you can't, no. And so I still enjoyed the movie, but it was those kind of things where I'm like,
Yeah.
man. And so for me, like it's like I'm glad that those lessons didn't get imparted on me, but it's like I can
Yeah.
see where it's like if you made this film now, there are a bunch of kids who'd fucking, you know, like we have people who dox people all the time. It was just like doxing where you could just
There
like,
are things
put
about this movie that it would
information
not.
Or swatting.
It would not
Yeah.
be made today.
For me, my two, along with the notes, like that, the whole Mark thing was my big one, but you already covered that, so I have two here. Like the entire Colin storyline,
Yeah.
I could
Colin
do
Firth.
without. I could do without
yeah.
the. I'm gonna go to America and have a.
the-
and
yeah.
then
it was
everything works
them
out
trying
for
to
me
be
just
American
fine.
Pie at the same time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very 2003, and it just you could cut that out of the whole movie, and I wouldn't miss it.
We're out here in 2008, and they were over there in 2000.
But even that's one of those things I mentioned in the beginning of the episode, that even in the time like 2005, 2006 when I watched it, it was like it's not me. That ain't me, fam. It never hit me as like funny either. And then the fat jokes.
Yeah.
First of all, she's nowhere near fat, and so I don't understand why everyone keeps calling.
Oh, the chunky girl. I wouldn't really call her
Would
that.
we call her fat?
Hi there, I'm back.
I just
Those are substantial thighs. Are the
those
phrase?
at the time bothered me, and they did not age well either in the last 17 years.
I want to talk
Especially
about
with
that.
body positivity being on the rise finally.
As a kid watching that, I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? As an adult, I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about?
Yeah. She's like in great shape. She's like, I don't know. It bugged me that was a through line of that whole story.
I think that's
agree.
what also kind of helped spark a little bit of like the whole like, hey, you don't have to be, you know, scrawny to be like seen as attractive, but also like, you know, it's like don't mutually divide these things.
And as someone like and it was a big thing. I mean, it's based on the Monica Lewinsky stuff. And if anyone here has checked in with Monica Lewinsky in the last 10 years, she is just on top of her shit. She's one of the
Very
best
much.
people to follow on Twitter. She's super honest. She's come to terms. But they said the same thing about her. You know, it was a big problem that people were calling her fat, the fat secretary that Bill Clinton hooked up with. Like, it wasn't cool then. I was fortunately raised by a lot of strong women of all sorts of different heights, sizes, shapes, backgrounds, identities, that kind of stuff. And so I was never taught to judge people upon that kind of stuff. And so it bugged me then, it bugs me now. I cringe every time someone's like, would we call her fat? Like, yeah, those are the two.
Caitlin?
I feel like we've covered most of the things that kind of bugged me. The only one that stood out was that Carl and Sarah couldn't be together. Like that was a doomed relationship. And that really bothered me because growing up, I was around a lot of mental, different abilities mentally involved in groups of things like that. And like you can have someone who has like mental illness and still live your own life. And like, yes, you have to have more checking in. And yes, like you do have to drop things for that. But it just felt like, oh, you have this brother that has this problem, so you can't have love. And there's one or the other. You can't have a fulfilling life outside of that. And that, I feel like that was not...
Question.
But there was her choice. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say for question. I think, Corey, you're about to talk about it. What is that more of a him having to be like, I'm cool to be part of this world that you have? Or is that up to her to understand, like, I can have both, but I can't have, like, it perfect?
Yeah. And they
because there are situations in my life, at least in my personal experience, where there are people who had to choose that over themselves and have dedicated their lives to not pursuing what they've wanted in love and life and career to take care of a family member in that situation. So it wasn't too unreal for me having seen it, I guess.
Yeah. I mean, it's not an unreal thing. But
I think what Caitlin's talking about is that the film kind of starkly draws it where it's like there's one or the other instead of like... and that's what I'm saying. Like the film could probably do some work of opening up and being like, you can choose to have them, but you can't have it the way you want it.
Well, for me, they did. And it definitely came down to her choice because he even says, is anything going to change if you answer that phone? Mm-hmm. And she says, no. And then she does it anyway. So for me, I feel like the filmmakers did take the extra step to be like, it's her choice to do this. But maybe that's just why that's a different viewing aspect.
It's just a perspective shift. But yeah, that just irked me a little bit. I didn't like super like, far, no.
No, I got you.
It just struck a little bit.
Yeah, I wish she could be happy in the end of the film.
She is.
Yeah. Boom.
I feel it.
I wish she could, how about this? I wish she could have her cake and eat it too.
Yes.
Yeah. But that's up to her to feel like,
and
can
the cake
I spread...
is his abs.
Yes.
Oh my God.
Those were nice abs.
All of him is a cake.
Can she spread herself thinly enough to be happy with that? Does she want to live like
Joshua herself over him?
I mean,
like butter across too much toast.
So far, my main qualms were already covered. I mean, the Colin storyline, it's the ultimate groaner, and my eyes can only roll so far in the back of my head. The other thing I said it in our last episode with National Lampoons. I have a real hard time with somebody who
flirting. Oh, adultery.
I have I've been cheated on myself, and it fucking sucks. And seeing but I mean, it's real. It happens. It's just one of those things that I'm like, your wife is so fucking cool. Mm-hmm. And like,
I was watching it with my boy Ian, as I've been saying it, but like, so he cut in halfway, and then he was like,
Shout out.
And he was like, what's happening? And I was like, so this motherfucker is like probably going to cheat on his wife because he's fucking stupid. And I was like giving him a wrap up, but I was like, but also look at the setup, right? And I'm not saying like, yo, everyone's super hot and all that shit, but I was saying like, he's like a schmo guy at this office, and she's been laying it on thick. So it's like written in the DNA that this is going to happen. And in that sense where it's like, I would say like, I know it's like not a great look for that character, but it's kind of like, I'm glad that he wasn't like such a hound dog like Chevy Chase's character was in Vacation, where here he was like, oh, well, I don't know. And then it just kind of like, he just kind of just broke down. It was like, well, fuck it. And it's still not a great feel. And I love that part where you're talking about with Rowan Atkinson being the angel, where like, that's why he takes so long to do the gift wrap. I'm like, this is your chance.
but you still do it anyway.
Say
And it's
no.
like, man. And and then at the end, all those people end up alone. That's sad.
The only other thing is like sometimes the I don't know what to call it. It's more so I don't know if it's the timeline or locations. Like sometimes it's unclear. Like there was one time that there was a scene with Colin and forgive me, the black guy's name, and then the next scene was on the porn set, and the black guy is one of the crew members. It was like I don't know, for some reason there was some like confusing time things with it.
Yeah, I think
Not
it's
like
just
super
inferred.
like, oh, I don't know what's going on. It was just kind of like, oh, that was weird. But it's neither here nor there. It's, you know.
Yeah, it's like it's raining at one moment, and they're like watching Bill Nye.
And like
or something.
I will say, if I'm talking about the Alan Rickman stuff, real quick, just to go back to that, because it just hit me. Like within the movie, they never explicitly say that he like slept with her more than just gave her the gift. And like doesn't matter either way, right?
Yeah.
But then I think I read somewhere, and maybe someone can confirm this, that like a writer did come out and say like, no, he had the affair. It happened.
But they
We didn't
also
include it in
came
the
back
movie.
later and said, actually, it didn't happen.
Did they? Is
Yeah.
that real?
That someone did this like the like fates of the love stories in the movie, and someone was like, I think it was the writer went on a tweeting spree and was like, yeah, they did have the affair. There was a line that didn't go in, that they went the whole way, but then later they were like, you know what? No, that didn't happen because we didn't put that in.
I want
There
to
was
say like this.
Something like that.
We're all 2020. We're all woke-ish a little bit. We all know acts of love,
Working on it.
right? Gifts, right? Gift giving.
Mhm.
It's a love language, baby.
Yep.
So
Well, I mean, it's
in that sense, he already did. He already
Yeah.
thought about
No,
it.
I'm saying either
It's
way, it
already
doesn't
happened.
matter.
yeah,
He
no,
still
it's
did it.
there's
So
two
fuck
forms
that
of there's two forms of affair. There's emotional cheating and there's physical cheating. Not some of them can be both. Some of them can be either or. It's both. It is.
Yeah.
It is done. It's an affair.
And
it's
is-
a breach of trust.
Can I just give a tiny shout out to Mia's like dark corners for secret deeds, and
Oh, she
she
was
does
laying
the
on
little
thick.
leg spread. I'm like, whoa!
But
That's
okay,
the most
hold up.
subtle
No
but blatant
confusion.
thing I think I've ever seen.
And so this is interesting. I want to just quickly analyze that scene because I remember watching it. I was like, damn, right? And I was like, I get it. I get why, even though he's got a great wife, it's like blah blah. It's just like, here's a fuck, and that's sadly saying that men are not accountable, right?
Yeah.
And I think there's a problem with that. But the way that it's shot, it's low angle on her. So it's definitely from his perspective of a power play, right? But for me, if I were to take it, I would have done it from her perspective and did a low angle. So
On him.
if you wouldn't get on her. So you wouldn't get an upskirt shot. You could just fucking make between her legs super dark. But it's like, it's Basic Instinct. It's Sharon Stone. So she's
She has
in
all the power.
control. And I would have
Yeah.
been like, that would have been dope. So I was just like, when I watched, I was like, I would have done that.
Ratings.
Rating.
Rating.
So Josh, you are first with no votes. No votes at all for Josh, so you're first.
I feel. Sorry.
In my fingers.
Fingers.
This is a really, really hard one.
That's what she said.
In my just go with your heart.
I'm gonna say
And
4.
then
I'm just
what
gonna
you're
give it
feeling
a
your
solid 4.
Josh gave it a solid 4.
Wow.
All right, Caitlin, you're next with 1 vote.
Man, I'm feeling
In your fingers.
pretty 4.8 about it.
Ooh.
Oh, shit.
It like, yeah, I know. It gives you the warm Christmas vibes, and this was one of those things where it had more of the type of movie that I saw growing up, so I had that nostalgia that I didn't have for Lampoons. So I could forgive things more because I viewed it more as a period
It's almost
piece.
like it was a by association.
Even
yeah,
though this
yeah.
is almost 20
which-
years older than it.
Which is a weird thing because, like, there are things I find unacceptable in this movie, but it's also like, it is like, for me, I've very easily compartmentalized. This was then, this is now. But yeah, 4.8.
Who's next?
This is where I'm conflicted, right?
Oh, okay.
Obviously, I like a lot of this movie. The whole Daniel storyline, Emma Thompson's
Also,
performances in it
performances from
all.
everyone. Is
Bill
great.
Nye's whole storyline is phenomenal. But obviously, I just have some reservations about literally talking about I would love if they cut 2 whole storylines out of the 9 that they have and made
Yeah.
it 7. So I cannot give it a 4, right? I can't give it a 4 or 5. I can't, because I would cut 2 whole storylines. The Colin and the
That's fair. Yeah,
Keira
I would.
Knightley storyline would go. Don't care for
would
them. I don't
too.
think they add much to the film. So I give it a 3.8.
Well,
Because while I do not like those, I never have liked those storylines except for when I was like 15. I thought the cue cards was romantic as fuck. Once I learned what life is, I was like, oh, that sucks.
Once I learned what life is.
So it sits at a 3.8 for me.
Corey, you ready to wear that crown, baby?
Am I?
You
What
ready
do
to
you
wear
got,
that
4?
crown, baby? I got
Yeah.
a solid 4 for me.
wow.
Solid 4 for me.
It's me, baby, me.
And that's why I said when we were voting, I said, Corey, I'm just like you, but also you know who I am.
Yeah.
And so there are things I don't want to take out. I don't want to take out the stories that I don't like because I want to be able to be like, man, fuck that with people around when we're all watching. You're like, this doesn't work, right?
I see what you're saying.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Where it's
the
like-
entertainment value that comes from it.
Because yeah, it's kind of just ridiculous, and it's kind of just like you're
It's like,
watching,
no.
and maybe, and that's why I kind of think where it's like, I hope in the end, maybe the director looks back or the writer looks back and be like, well, I'm glad people can see this because this is not what you should be doing. You know, like, because at the
Yeah.
end, Andrew Lincoln doesn't end up in a good place. And also, any of the people who cheat never end up in a good place. You know, so it's like, maybe,
Andrew Lincoln
hopefully.
does end up in a good place. He's super satisfied.
He's like, that's
He
enough.
literally goes, that's enough. And he's
I'm like-
really happy. He doesn't deserve that. He doesn't deserve that at all.
He deserves a.
I did wonder why he had her face so close cropped. And then when you were like masturbation video, I was like, oh.
Yes.
Yeah.
He doesn't deserve to be satisfied, in my opinion.
But I feel like I'm glad that he just doesn't end up with somebody.
But so
Sure.
much else
Like
of the movie has so much good warm fuzz feels.
But like
that
what
we
Corey
can
said, if
just
they were to make a
repress the
sequel,
bad
you'd only
memories.
want to see a few people move on to the sequel.
Yeah.
So,
Daniel.
Yeah.
but
I think I'm going to make my own cut of the film that's just the Daniel stuff. And then
Okay.
it's only a 15-minute film and a short film. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So I'm the Grump. The shout outs go to one person voted for me, Matt R. in the Nerd on
Ooh.
Nation.
Shout out,
Matt.
Matt. Good
Yeah,
job.
Matt. Nice.
Ja
in a
feel.
row.
Ja feel hard feelings about this.
wait, but I
fair
want to know,
though.
man, I want to know who voted for me.
We can talk afterwards.
Yeah, we'll talk afterwards.
Everybody at home, thank you so much for listening to this conversation about Love Actually. Let us know what you think of Love Actually if you've seen it. Reach out to any of our social media, but the best place to do it is head on over to that Discord. There is a movie channel, and we can continue the conversation over there. nerdon.tv/Discord. Check it out. Come hang out with other listeners. All that good stuff.
Let us know if you feel it in your fingers and you feel it
Yeah,
in your toes.
and in your toes. Fit that extra syllable in there. Yeah, thank you so much for listening. If you are new to Nerd On, check out our website, nerdon.tv. It has all of the links to everything that we do. One big shout out to our YouTube channel where all of these episodes go to. You can see our interactions with each other and our silly reactions and all that good stuff when we lose it, all that. Check it out. Go to YouTube, search Nerd On the Podcast, or go to our website. There's a direct link. That's easy, nerdon.tv. Do consider joining the Nerd On Nation. It does allow us to grow, to keep creating content, high quality.
We want to be
That's what we
growers,
want to
not
do,
showers.
and that's what
Well,
you guys deserve. What?
We grow
I wanna
and we
let-
show.
we want to grow and then show.
I want to feel the Christmas all around us and let the feeling show.
Yeah. Rate us, share us with your friends, your family, wherever you listen. Subscribe. And yeah, that's been it. Happy holidays to all of you out there. Take care of yourselves.
Happy New
You
Year.
know the drill. As always, nerd on.
Nerd on.
Nerd on.
Ending broadcast.